Hello again, guys. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good day. Uh, just got back from the barbers. Just had a little beard shave. Try to tidy myself up a little bit, make myself presentable. Um, so, what I wanted to talk today about is so you've stopped drinking. Now what? How do you fill that gap in your life? Well, for me, one of the first things I did was, fortunately, I was in a fortunate enough position that I still had a job, so my focus was very much on money. Um, I really wanted to get my finances sorted out. I wanted to pay people back that I owed money to, which probably sounds a little bit worse than it is. It wasn't like I was into loan sharks for thousands of pounds. It was just, friends and family, people I borrowed money off and not paid back. Um, and I wanted to see myself go from constantly broke, and in an eternal sort of cycle of getting paid, borrowing, getting paid, paying people back, borrowing more because I had nothing left, then doing it again. It just went on week after week after week. So my focus in those early days was money. Um, Not everyone's going to be fortunate enough to be in a position where they've got a job. So what do you do then? Well, they say, one of the dangers to look out for is swapping one addiction for another, which I can see would be very easy to do. I think if you spoke to my girlfriend, she'd say that I was still addicted to cake and chocolate, but um, that's me being sort of trying to inject some humour into it. But it's a very risky trap to fall into. Um, Now, keeping busy, I think is one of the things that helps. If you can find a way to keep busy, go to the gym, um, go walking, go running. Take up some kind of activity that's going to keep your mind occupied and keep your mind away from thinking about just sitting on the spot, sitting still and thinking about alcohol. They're all going to be good things. Um, I know that people can get addicted to going to the gym and to health and fitness, but you can't. I feel that you can't stop doing everything just in case you get addicted. You have to learn, and this is where AA comes in really handy again. Is you have to learn how addiction works. It's not just alcoholism. You learn how addiction works, and you look out for sort of signs that show that you're acting in an addictive way with regards to something. I remember being at a meeting once, and the lady who was talking was saying that she realised that she was drinking a lot of Diet Coke, and one of her children had gone to the fridge and drunk some of this Diet Coke, and she said, I reacted in the same way as I would have reacted if somebody had drunk my alcohol. And she knew then that she was doing the same thing. It was the same behaviours around this coke. She'd replaced one addiction with another. So you really have to watch out for that and kind of learn how that works. But yeah, what do I do now? Well, the thing is, if you kind of try and treat your sobriety as a clean slate, then you can do anything you want. You know, it could be work related, it could be fitness related, it could be writing a book, it could be doing a podcast, it could be doing a YouTube channel, it could be anything you want it to be that is going to be productive for your life and, help you stay away from the draw of going back to the drink. I think probably the worst thing you could do is just sit in a flat or a house and do nothing except pine the loss of your old life, shall we say? Because obviously, if you do that, you're just going to almost like craving an ex. You're just going to want to go back under any terms. Just take me back. And that obviously isn't going to be beneficial for you in any way. So try and think about that. Try and think about, or my advice would be to try and think about what can you do instead to keep you busy. What, you know, it's limitless the amount of things that you could find to do, depending on your personality, your likes, your, you know, whatever you're interested in, that kind of thing. I had a YouTube channel for a little while. I've still got it, but I had a YouTube channel where I did hiking, and you know that helped because I was getting fitter, and you know also getting out of the house, XYZ. You know, it gave me a purpose, and I think that's the thing. Once you've lost your main purpose when you were drinking, which was drinking, then you've got to replace it with something. You can't just sit still. So, like I say, my in the early days, my focus was on money, and becoming a sort of a normal person again. You know, somebody who had money in his pocket and could afford to do things and, you know, stand on his own 2 feet. I mean, that's another thing. You've got you might be in a situation where you've lived for so long relying on other people to help you that suddenly you might find that, you know, you've got a job, you've got money in your pocket, you don't drink anymore, and so you can start standing on your own 2 feet a little bit more, which in turn will make you feel better, which hopefully will trigger that part of your brain that sort of says, you know, obviously this works, so I'm going to continue. Which I think is probably what happened to me in a lot of ways. I realised that with each week that passed, each day that passed, each week that passed, my life was improving in so many ways. So, you know, I suppose that's what I'm trying to say today is really just don't, you know, if you're going to stop drinking, try not to just sit on the spot doing nothing. Try and give yourself a focus away from the alcohol and the recovery. Give yourself a focus where it's something fun, it's something you enjoy, it's something that gives you purpose and meaning. You know, because you know, I think it's very easy to stop drinking and feel like you've lost your life. So make your life, right? If you feel like that, decide what your life you want and go for it without the shackle of the, you know, of alcohol controlling you. Anyway, I think I get the message. I don't want to just keep repeating myself and you know, saying the same thing over again in different ways. But I think you get what I'm trying to say. Hopefully you can take something from it, and you know, hopefully it works for you, and hopefully I'll see you again.